Do aftermarket parts always reduce reliability?
I would say aftermarket parts are not as reliable as OE parts. So in particular, like glass, for example, those type of aftermarket companies that are name brand towards that particular parts store, they have a really, really high failure rate. They're not as reliable as OE parts or genuine parts, whether it's from a dealership or from an aftermarket source, but still an OE genuine part. They don't hold the same, right? They're not built the same. They're not designed the same way. They're in different manufacturers. Those types of companies that are there, whether it's being made by a totally third country, even a lot of those parts are made in like Indonesia and then they get shipped in. They're just made cheaper, and that's why they're more cost effective. That's why they're considered like bottom shelf parts. Is that because of their lack of reliability, because of the lack of quality behind their parts and the lack of strength behind the material that they're using, they have a significantly high failure rate. Now, with that said, OE parts, even from the dealership, I would say 2 out of 10 are bad out of the box. And that's kind of the same purposes and same reasons. But I think like those aftermarket ones, I would say probably 60 to 70% of those parts tend to be either go bad quickly or are bad out of the box. And so that's why I personally like using OE parts on vehicles. Now, is it always an option? No. Is it always the most effective thing here? No. Don't get me wrong. There's points and times, and really it depends on circumstances when we do use aftermarket parts. But I would say aftermarket parts tend to be significantly less reliable than OE parts for all the reasons that I've mentioned here, which is why it's really important. Name brands of the parts or the brands that belong to the type of vehicle are so crucial to stay together. And so it's always best practice. Do the right thing. It is a little bit more of a larger investment sometimes, but it's the right thing for your vehicle.